Now Mike and I are out in the transition room, which is a naturally lit room, a little bit larger. It's also for this more of this growing phase of the tomato plant. This tomato here is a little over a month old. It's been transplanted from the plug tray into this larger pot, and now it gets to hang out under these grow lights and put on more size before it gets transplanted into the high tunnel. So describe to me a little bit more of the process that you did to get them out to this stage.
Well, once they spend about 3 weeks in the germination room and they establish their first true leaves, then I go ahead and transplant them into the larger containers and then keep them out here at cooler temperature for about 3 more weeks. And once the root system then has established itself, I then take them into the high tunnel where they will either be put into beds or left there prior to sale.
Okay, great. And so obviously they still have the grow lights out here because they need to have the lighting since this room is not a greenhouse, so it doesn't have all the available light. So these lights themselves, they get raised or lowered depending on the height of the plant, correct?
Yes, yes.
And also there's watering issues here. How frequently do you water?
About every 3 days.
And is it, it looks like a bottom water system? You're just filling the trays and letting them soak up the water?
Yes, I just put enough in for each container to wick up water to make it moist.
Great, super. Well, this is a great option if you want to start seeds indoors before they go into the high tunnel. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm at Marett Farms High Tunnel, and this is a great example of a transitional space set up within a high tunnel for seed starting. So basically, if you have a large tunnel, this one is 26 by 72 feet, and you want to start your seeds in the spring, but you don't want to heat the entire space, you can actually partition it off using a simple sheet of plastic, attach it along the bows with wiggle wire, and create a smaller space to heat. This way, you have this sort of temporary space. This one in particular has these raised beds, these permanent raised beds, and then it also has these temporary bench tops that can be set on top to give you plenty of space to set out all your seedlings. We also have this permanent heater in the back here, and this is an option that is much more efficient, much safer. It has adequate ventilation, piping to the outside. And it's large enough to heat the entire greenhouse temporarily in the early spring when we want to keep the tomato transplants, for instance, warm enough at night. But then once the warm days come along, we will not need it anymore. So then you would save energy costs and heating costs throughout the rest of the season. So this space is great. It's nice to have the flexibility and the option to change it up and still be able to grow great tomatoes in here through the rest of the season.